All right, I'm just gonna start this video off with saying this is gonna be a long one. Y'all, this is gonna be a long one because we got a lot to cover. Because I did not cover the Women Tell All last week because I was moving, as you guys know. So this episode is I'm gonna do a quick recap of my thoughts of the Women Tell All into the Bachelor finale. So let's just get straight into it. I don't want to waste any time. So the Women Tell All, my overall thoughts, y'all. Winner. I thought this Women Tell All gave me everything I wanted and more. Not only did it give me Maria for president and Maria for Bachelorette, not only did it give me the drama ensuing again, not only did it give me the resolutions, not only did it give me the updates, it gave me everything I wanted to know, and I was very, very happy. They showed the bachelor parties being crashed by Jesse and Joey, which I thought was hilarious because Jesse Palmer was living his best life. I mean, like, he looked like he was enjoying that more than freaking Joey was. And that, to me, that sold it. I was like, you know what? Jesse Palmer, I like you. You are a fun time. He looked like he was just having the time of his life, and Joey looked so uncomfortable. He was like, is this over? When is my contract over so I can stop having to do all this stuff? Because you could just tell he is not a man for the cameras. He's just like, I was picked to be the Bachelor, and it is what it is, but I'm not here for the fame and the lights and all that stuff. He just looked uncomfortable. We have all the women were there. The love for Maria in the audience was crazy. Guys, there were signs. Beautiful. Literally signs that said Maria for freaking president. I mean, the love that Maria has gotten, I'll take it. I am a Maria stan on this channel. I am a Maria stan. I was really rooting for her for the Bachelorette. We'll get into that because I have thoughts about it. I have a lot of thoughts about our new Bachelorette. And they're not necessarily, like, it's not negative, but I just have some thoughts and we'll get into it. But, oh my God, they have all the women clap for each person, and you could just tell that no one was clapping for Leia. It was really awkward. Or Sydney. It was extremely awkward. Yikes. God, it's so awkward. So we then begin the recap. They show us everything that we saw this season. Y'all, I had forgotten how good the drama was. This season had such good drama. And it all started just because Medina had said, man, I feel like I'm at the top of my age and I need to get married and have children. Like, literally, this is what all this stemmed from. And it all stems from freaking Maria just being like, what is she freaking out about? She's awesome. To absolute craziness. And honestly, I really think that's what hindered her relationship with Joey. I will stand by it. It was a stupid ass drama, but it is what it is. And from the gate, the women are like, Leia, she was performative. When she threw that, the card in the fire, that was all performative. Like, how could you talk like that, being like, oh, we're doing this for the women, but then talk smack about them? I said, oh! The girls were there to not play. Edwina for the win. Edwina, girl, I love you. I love you. She freaking just said everything that was on her mind. She was like, why don't you guys just admit you just didn't like her? Stop pretending like it's X, Y, and Z. You guys just didn't like her from the beginning. And she was like, whoa, don't put me in this category. Whoa. I was like, queen. Edwina was a queen, and I loved her for it. I'm so glad that so many of the other women were much more like, talking about what they actually felt, because I really felt like this season, like, everybody was just like, Maria, and no one was like really backing her up because I think they just didn't want to be in the drama. But I'm so glad that they all were just like, what the fuck? What the fuck, Leia? What the fuck, Sydney? What the fuck, Jesse? Like, Jess. Like, I was, oh my Lord. Oh my God. Oh, Leia was like really just trying to defend herself. And everybody was like, girl, you talked shit about other people and you were talking about being a girl's girl. Like, how does that make sense? I was like, oh, they called her out. I feel very attacked. Relax. And I loved it. My favorite part was that Jesse Palmer could not get a word in because all of these ladies were like, like just going one on top of another, up and Maria kept just being like, whoa, I don't agree with what you're saying. Whoa, why are you lying? Why are you saying things I didn't say? Why are you acting this way? Like, Maria, I was happy that Maria did not just play the, like, you know what? I did some wrong things and I'm just going to be quiet. No, she was herself the whole time, and everyone in that audience absolutely loved her. absolutely loved her. And at the same time, the crazy thing was, not only did she show, like, hey, this is what you did was wrong, why are you lying? But then she also showed empathy. You know, Leia was really getting reamed by everyone. She comes back and she's sobbing. And right before they come back in, they show Maria going up to Leia before they start filming again. They show her go up to Leia and being like, hey, like, it's okay, like, it's fine, like, we'll get over it, we're gonna be good, it's fine, we're gonna be good. Like, gives her a hug to calm her down. I'm like, who acts like this?
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping.
Literally, who acts like this? Like, I just think that she's just so amazing that she just deserves all the praise in the world. That's really what I'm trying to say. She's so amazing, she deserves the praise that she is getting. One thing I thought was hilarious, though, I will say, something I thought was hilarious was Jess kept saying, like, oh, I didn't appreciate that Maria would never let me get a word in. And every single time she would say that, Maria would be like, that's not true. And then she's like, okay, you know, I know I'm cutting you off, but I just don't like that you're lying. That's not true. And it was just funny because that was Jess's whole thing, was that Maria was cutting her off and not letting her talk. And during this whole thing, she kept cutting off Jess. So I thought that was funny timing. I said, Maria, I mean, come on. The timing is not good timing, but it's hilarious. I love it. It's hilarious. So eventually we do have, I gotta say one thing about Sydney. So Sydney was pretty kind of laying low for most of it. Like she would kind of say something, but she wouldn't like continue to egg it on or continue it. She would like just say her thought and then she would just let Maria say something and then she would just be like silent. She's like, I know I'm not gonna win. I'm just gonna sit down here and just be quiet. Like, I'm just gonna sit down here and shush it up, right? And I do think that at some point, Leia and Sydney were both like, we're not gonna win, so we might as well just apologize and give in to what this Maria fandom is, because we are on the wrong side of history. We are on the wrong side of history, so let's just squash it. Let's just pretend we're good for the cameras and just let it go. Because honestly, that's the vibe it gave me, that everybody was like coming after them so badly, and they were seeing that the reaction that Maria was getting wasn't what they were expecting. So I think at one point they kind of were like, they flipped the switch on themselves. They were like, yeah, let's just be like, all right, we're cool, everything's fine. Like, I'm sorry I acted this way. I didn't get to know you, blah, 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 all this stuff. That's just me. And this, you know, they had that resolution with Maria and Sydney, you know, because Maria was in the hot seat at some point. Sorry, I'm jumping around here. I hate to break. I'm jumping around. So Maria was in the hot seat at like one point, and you know, they talked about like, well, why do you think Sydney was doing this? And she's like, I really have no idea. She's like, I didn't have an issue with her. And then that's when Sydney and Maria started to flip the switch, and they're like, yeah, like I know I was being annoying. Like I'm watching it back, and you were right. I was being annoying, so I understand why you were calling me that. She was just kind of like playing it like, you know what, I watched it back, and you're right. I kind of went a little bit overboard. Like, it was a bit much. And then Leia also, I think, started feeding off of that energy as well, being like, oh, fuck, I should flip the script here. I'm going to flip the script on myself. And she was like, you know what? Like, watching it back, Maria, like, you know, I felt wrong because I feel like I didn't get to know you. And when I watched you on screen, I'm like, I love that girl. I love her. I'm like, do I believe you? Not really, but whatever. It is what it is. We're going to say what we're going to say. And Maria was so cool. She was like, you know what, girls? Like, I want to be good. Like, let's just hug it out. And then they all come and they hug. And I was like, oh my God, the resolutions on this freaking room and tell all. I said, yes. Okay, resolutions. I don't know how real these resolutions are, but I can feel that Maria is just like, you know what? I want to leave this shit in the past. Like, I just want to move on. And I love her. I love her, and I wish Maria nothing but the best things in life. I love her. Maria for president. Maria for Bachelorette. I'm still calling Maria for Bachelorette at some point because she's not going to be our Bachelorette, unfortunately. But I still love her, and I would hope that one day she could be, or maybe she just said no. I don't know what the thing is, right? But I love her. I love that girl. We had Lexi in the hot seat as well. She was another one that was really hoping, like another one that I was like, oh, she could be Bachelorette, but she's not. You know, they put her in the hot seat, talk about her leaving early, all that stuff. She feels very happy where she is, and she's looking forward to meeting someone. Yay. We had Jen in the hot seat. And y'all, while I was watching this, I didn't think this meant anything. I was just like, oh, Jen's in the hot seat. Okay, she was another one. Well, We all know where that ends. But she talks a lot about her experience on the show and how it's helped her mom notice her more in a grown-up light and realize that she is growing into her own woman and all these things. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's really nice. I'm so happy. Little did I know that this was going to affect a lot of things and that this was almost like a little audition for her. Little did we know. Or unless she knew. I don't know. We'll get to it. We get back. Oh, okay. Okay. I can't believe I forgot about talking about this. Like, I literally can't believe I forgot to talk about this because I just read my notes. But guys, we go back to Tulum. We go back to Tulum because we have to figure out what this note was about. So, Kelsey wrote this note to just tell Joey that she missed him.
I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? Girl, you wrote a letter that said we need to talk, stressed the shit out of Joey, thinking that his number one pick, because we all knew, like at this point, like she is his number one pick. It is so obvious. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? She stressed this guy out, has no idea. And granted, I don't want to roast Kelsey. I love her. She is the sweetest, just brightest person ever. I love her. I wish her the best in life. And we know that the producers were like, hey, you should probably write this for Joey. Actually, let's get into the scene, guys. Let's get into the scene because we all know that I like to do a scene with producers because it's one of my favorite things to do when I'm talking about reality TV. Okay, so my friends, what do we think we should do to really put Joey off his trails? What should we do? I know what we should do. How about we have his number one pick send him a note? But what will the note say? I have an idea. What do you think it should be? I think that we should have Kelsey write him a note that just says, we need to talk. And that's going to freak him out. Should we do that? Yes, we should, because it'll make for great TV. He's going to spiral, he's going to freak out, but then he's going to find out that actually she just misses him. But of course, if he does this, then it's going to really make him spiral because he's going to think that Kelsey's leaving and that his number one choice is leaving and that the person he wants isn't going to choose him because it's his biggest fear, right? Yes, it is. I agree. We should do it. Kelsey, bring her in. That's what happened, guys. I swear to God, that's what happened. So, Kelsey comes into the door and she's literally just like, I wanted to be really honest with you because we said we would always be honest with each other. But I just wanted to tell you that, like, I miss you and it's so hard. And this guy is just so relieved, but at the same time, pissed. Because he's like, are you fucking kidding me? You gave me a heart attack. You know my number one fear is that someone that I love isn't going to choose me and that they're going to leave. And I knew in that moment, I said, this guy is spiraling so hard about Kelsey leaving.
Second, okay? Why can't anybody give me a goddamn second?
She's his number one pick. It is so clear. It is clear as day. But he says, okay, I'm fine. But he's like, but I said this. And I felt bad because at this point, Kelsey's all freaking out. Like, oh my God, what did I do? Did I mess up my chances? Oh my God. Like, I hope he doesn't think that I want to leave. Like, that wasn't what I wanted to do. And I feel bad because I know producers probably made her write this stupid ass note that says, we need to talk. I mean, it was so dramatically ridiculous. Yes, it made for good TV. Yes, it had us by the every week I was like, oh my God, who wrote this note?
Who wrote the note? You tell.
Oh my God, who wrote this note? Like, it had us really, like, they know what they're doing. And what happens? Guys, literally, it was nothing. It was literally, I miss you. I digress. Then we have our rose ceremony, and yes, we do lose Rachel. I was not surprised by this. I knew she was going to go home. I know she wasn't going to be the in the top two. That was very obvious. It was very sad goodbye. They really hugged. This was the first time you really saw, him crying, and it was the first time because when he said bye to Marie, he was like, all right, peace out, Maria, bye. And he didn't really have any emotion, which I wish he did have a little bit more, but he didn't really. So I was like, oh, maybe he obviously didn't care about her that much or didn't really get there at all with her, which granted, I think it was a lot because of the, because of the drama. But I also think he would not be able to handle Maria. Maria needs someone a little bit more spicy. I think he wouldn't be able to handle her, to be completely honest. I think the two women he had in his final two were the two perfect women for him, in my opinion. But yeah, they leave and they say goodbye, and then obviously Rachel's at the tell-all. She talks to Joey, and you could just tell that they have this beautiful friendship. I think more than anything, like I really could see them being like friends after this, just being like, ha, remember that time we dated? And he's just like, I'm so sad, like I really want her in my life still, like I really love her. And you could tell it's more of like a friend love. It's not a like I want to have sex with you and have a family with you kind of love. It's definitely like, I love you as a person. I want the best for you. You're so awesome. You're funny. You're a great person. You're beautiful. You're wonderful. Like, he really does believe these things about Rachel. And I think it's because they've built this really beautiful friendship. And you can see it when they get on the couch together. Like, she's kind of like, well, I'm happy to see you cried. And they laugh over it. They kind of have a little moment where they're just kind of like jokey about the situation. Like, yeah, it hurt. It was sucky for her, but at the end of the day, she wasn't the one, and she's able to accept that. And I think in the future, they will definitely have like a real friendship, which I love to see. Then we get into obviously a very, very, before we get into the finale, we get into a very sad, moment, because we find out that Rachel has been very much, been getting a lot of negative comments and a lot of hate. And I was shocked. Y'all, comment down below, but I was shocked because I really didn't know that it was like she was getting hate, because she's been so cool. There's nothing about her that has been like questionable. Like, the fact that people are going online and like going after someone for their race, going after someone for their culture, for kissing Joey, like, it is absolutely sad. And we do not stand for that shit on this channel anywhere in life. I just find it so sad and horrific that there are people that are literally behind a screen every day just sending DMs to someone being like, you are an awful human being. Like, you are the worst. Like, ew, I can't believe you're with Joey. Ew, and giving racist comments to someone. Like, what? Why? What do you win? Oh, it hurt me so hard. I felt so bad for her. And then Jesse Palmer ends up talking about this to the camera and to all the ladies, like, has anyone else here experienced any sort of online bullying or anything like that? And a lot of the women raised their hands. And it's sad because we do live in a society now where people are just thinking that that's just okay. They're like, oh, we're behind a screen. No one's going to come for us. No one's going to say anything. But what the words that you say do matter. They really affect people. And it's sad that we live in this society now that it's just like supposed to just come with the territory. Like, if you're on social media, like, you should just be prepared that people are going to come after you and give you hate and be racist and give you ugly comments and say bad things about you. Like, that's sad. Like, that is what social media has kind of become in a way, because it doesn't have to be that way. So guys, let's be nice to each other in our comments on this channel, in any other channel. It's something that I really, really, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all, right? Like, that's what our moms taught us. If you have nothing nice to say, just don't say anything at all. And don't write in someone's comments horrible things, because what you say matters. And it's just sad. But anyway, after about 20 minutes of me yakking away about the Bachelor Women Tell All, let's get into our finale, my lovely watchaholics. This finale, final thoughts on the finale. I liked it. I liked the way it ended. I liked who Joey chose. I think it all made sense. Now, was it the most dramatic, heart-wrenching finale? I mean, I cried. I did shed a couple of tears. But I also do think that, Bachelor ABC, they were just hyping it up. They were hyping it up so much to the point that I literally, the whole episode, I was like, what the fuck? Like, what is happening? Like, what could possibly happen that has never happened before? Like, okay, it can't be that he just decides he wants to date. Is he going to end up by himself? Is he really not going to choose anyone because he can't choose? There was, at one point, I was thinking that that's what it was going to be. That he just wasn't going to pick anyone because he couldn't figure it out. At one point, that's what I thought was going to happen. But then as the date started, the last one-on-ones happened, I said, oh, no, he knows who he wants to pick. He knows what he wants to pick. And, okay, let's get into it. Okay, to me, like this, nothing could be worse than Ari's season. To me, that was a heart-wrenching, never before seen thing. Like, the fact that they put that whole breakup on camera, the fact that he said yes to somebody else and then went home and was like, yo, I made the wrong mistake, that to me will still live as one of the highest peak, worst moments in Bachelor history. Like, heart-wrenching, holy shit episodes and season finales, in my opinion. And nothing has been able to beat that for me. That's what I believe. So we have Joey, he's with his gold chain in the water. He's got his gold chain. I said, Joey, stop with the gold chain. You should stop with the gold chain. He talks about Kelsey and Daisy, all that stuff. I feel like I see a future. I like them, blah, 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 blah. He talks about his fear about not being chosen, which we know. Joey, we know. We know it's your fear. And I knew for a fact that the franchise kept pushing that narrative this whole season. Like, someone's gonna leave him. He has fears of not being chosen. His fears not being chosen. I'm like, okay, they're pushing this narrative so much to the point that I cannot believe that he is going to. It's gonna be the opposite. They're making us think that he's going to be, that he's gonna end up alone when he's not. And it's exactly what happened. But it's now time to meet the family. Super duper excited. Again, even the family keeps saying about the fear. It's just a big thing about not ending up with anyone. So the first person to meet his family is Daisy. It's very emotional. She thanks the family for having Joey, for letting how do I say, like, thanking his family for bringing up this man because he has changed her life. And, she ends up talking with the sisters one-on-one, and she tells them, like, I love him. He's changed my life. She wants to be with him forever. Like, all of these things. And, at this point, I was literally like, oh, okay, so at first I thought Daisy was going to be the one that was going to be like, I'm not sure. But she was very all in on this conversation. She was like, if he goes down on one knee, I will marry him. He is who I want to be with forever. He has changed my life. Like, you could just tell, like, he was the one for her. Like, she had no reservations, which is interesting because we all know that at first she was having a lot of trouble, like, really, saying it. And when she finally opened up, she was able to really give everything to the process. And she was like, no, like, I love him. I want to be with him. Joey and his sisters talk about how compatible they are, but he is a little bit scared that she might be holding back. And I'm like, no, she's not. And they do say that to him. They're like, yeah, no, I don't think so. Like, she said, like, I'd marry him tomorrow. Like, she's very set. And I do agree with what Joey said. I do think that they are very compatible. I think they were more compatible than, like, Kelsey and Joey. But what Joey and Kelsey also had was a different kind of relationship. But I do feel that he was more compatible, on paper at least, or from what I could see, with Daisy. I do believe that. Daisy talks to his mom, and she asks, what makes Daisy unique? I said, Mom coming in with the questions. Mom coming in with the questions. Okay. She talks about how she loves deeply, that she's a very emotional person. And in the beginning of this process, she felt like she was holding back, but eventually she was able to put down her walls, and she's just so happy to have Joey. And this was the first time we saw Daisy so emotional. And I really think it is because he really did need to meet her family for her to let down those guards, because this was the most I'd ever seen her be so emotional, like crying, all like so much about her love and how much she wants this with Joey, with the family. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. But because of this whole, like, she's so emotional and it was making me so happy that she was getting there. I also, at that point, I wrote here in my notes, I am so nervous for Daisy. I don't know how this is going to go, because I've been saying for the last couple of episodes that at this point, I kept saying, I really think that Kelsey is his first choice, though. Like, the way he talks about her, the way he looks at her, the way he says that he misses her all the time. Like, these are all signs to me that Daisy is not his top choice. So seeing her get so emotional and so invested, I was like, oh my God, I'm worried. But yeah, so then we have Kelsey meeting his family. And like I was saying before, you have him talking about Kelsey like she is the one. He's like, I missed her every time I'm not with her. I can't wait to see her again. Like, all these things that he doesn't talk about Daisy. He just says, like, Daisy has this light about her. Daisy's such a great, she's so strong. She's so confident. But he doesn't say, like, how, sometimes he does, but, like, with the way he used to talk about Kelsey, or the way he was talking about Kelsey, was so much of, like, man, she makes me, like, so giddy. She makes me like have so much fun. She has this lovely, like, bright, like, when I'm around her, I just want it. Like, it's just obvious that he really, really felt something a lot stronger for Kelsey at this point. Of course, she meets the family. She's super sweet. They automatically love her. You could just tell. There's this one moment that I was like, oh, that's it. I said it was. That was the moment to me that even the family, I think, was able to see, like, oh, there's something special here. And it was this one, it was super quick, but they zoomed in on the parents' reaction to it, because it was, Joey was talking, and as Joey was talking, he had, like, something on his face, and she kind of just, like, took it off, like, while he was talking, like a wife or a significant other would do to their person while they were talking, like, oh honey, you have something on you, but, like, she just, like, did it, like, instinctively, and it was such a cute moment. And the parents noticed, and the mom, you could tell the mom was like, oh my God, and she, like, looked at the husband like, did you see that? Like, that is so wow, like, what she just did. Like, I can see that being someone who is in tune with their person. You could tell right away that the mom, like, was like, I see something different here. I see a different kind of connection. And then this is the moment where I got a little bit nervous. So I was like, okay, wait, are they going to throw a wrench in my plans? Producers, are you going to throw a wrench in my plans? We have the sisters talk with her, and she doesn't say, I 100% want to get married. I 100% will accept his proposal. They just say, do you think you're going to get married? Do you think you're ready to get married? And she's like, I think so, yeah. Like, she just says, I think. She doesn't say, yes, I am ready to be married. And the way she kind of says it is because she's like, it's not a box that I'm trying to tick. Like, yeah, I will tick it because I'm with my person. I'm with Joey, who I love, but it's not something that I've always wanted. It's not something that I need right now. It's not something that I need to tick a box off. Like, I need to do it. And I think that was her way of being like, yeah, I think I'm ready to get married. But she wasn't like, I need to get married kind of thing, which, to be honest, kind of works with Joey, because we all know that Joey had talked about there being a timeline, and he wanting to have a long engagement and then get married and then have kids. So I think with Kelsey, I think he was able to, they were both able to kind of see that together and be like, well, we'll be engaged, but we don't have to get married tomorrow. We can be engaged for 2 years and actually date and get to know each other and love on each other and all those things. So it might have sounded bad to the sisters, but I think with Joey, he says that it kind of worried him, but I think in the back of his mind, I think he always knew, like, well, it'll be okay because I'm not rushing to go to the altar kind of thing, right? But Kelsey, she's just so sweet. Oh my God, she kept talking about how she was thinking about Daisy, and I'm like, oh, good person, a beautiful light. She is a wonderful human being. Oh my God, I love her. She's so sweet. She was just like, I care so much for Joey, but I do know that there's another woman involved, and Daisy is just a wonderful woman, and I love her so much. But I also do hope he picks me. It was like, that whole thing where it's like someone who's your friend, but you're not that you should both be fighting for the same person ever, but on this kind of television show, right? That's what you're doing. She just was having so much empathy for Daisy as well, which was beautiful to see. You don't really see that happen a lot on The Bachelor, where the top two women are talking about each other to other people and how much they care and how much they love the other person. I think that was sweet. And that really, really encompassed what that shocking finale was. You had these two women that are really empowering each other and trying not to be necessarily in competition, but just wanting the other person to be happy and for Joey to pick the right person for them and that they would be happy for whoever they chose, kind of thing, right? So then we have, he says bye to Kelsey. Joey's worried about who he can really see it with. And I'm like, okay, this is for the cameras because I know for a fact that I see it with Kelsey. It's just very obvious. So then we have our last one-on-ones. And these last one-on-ones are what really, really, I think, were very telling. We as an audience were like, okay, Joey's giving us some hints as to where he's leaning, even though he doesn't want to say it yet, kind of thing. So he has his last one-on-one with Daisy, and they do like a spiritual cleansing. Daisy, she's telling in her, ITMs that, that she wants to tell him she loves him, but it hurts because he might not feel the same way, and she doesn't want to get hurt. And I'm like, oh.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Oh, God. I was like, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. So then they do the spiritual thing. It's very sweet, but it's very quiet. Like, they don't have time to talk. So I'm like, ugh, I hate these dates when you can't talk. What's the point of this date? Like, how are you furthering your relationship? You're not. So then there's like this little pit where the spiritual healer, I think, is telling them like, okay, put in your deepest wishes. And Daisy goes first and she says, I can't wait to continue to grow with this relationship with you and see where life goes and all this stuff. And then Joey says, I just hope you find happiness. And I said, nope, that's it. Abort, red flag. Not red flag, but abort, like, and she knew. In that moment, she was like, yeah, he's not picking me. Because instead of him being like, giving her a little bit more of a, not incentive, a little bit more of validation. Like, I do hope the same. Like, I hope that we continue to grow. I can't wait to see where this goes. Things like that. Instead, he's just like, I hope you find happiness. Either if it's with me or not with me. I'm like, that is Joey. Joey, you basically told her you're not picking her. Like, literally, you just told her you're not picking her. I said, oh, God. This is not good. This is not good. And she starts to spiral. You can see she's freaking out inside, on the outside, in front of him. She's freaking out because she is starting to slowly realize, or not slowly, she in that moment was, boom, hit with like, fuck, he's not choosing me. He's choosing Kelsey. He's not choosing me. Then we move into the night portion. And at this point, she has kind of flipped in. She's like, I'm trying to stay positive. I'm going to tell him how I feel about him today. Tell him that she's in love with him and that she feels really, really great about him. So they sit down, they talk, blah, blah, blah. And she tells him, hey, I wasn't falling in love with you, but I am in love with you. And I feel so good about you. And he doesn't really say much to her. He doesn't really validate her by saying something that he might feel the same way or anything. He kind of brushes it off, and she's just freaking out because she's like, yeah, I'm back to square one. Like, yeah, I don't know if he's picking me. I just have this weird feeling. She starts talking about how it shouldn't feel this way. She has a lot of anxiety because she doesn't know, and it should not feel this way. And it's true. If she was very certain about the way he felt about her, she wouldn't feel this way. But it was her gut. It was, and she trusted it. Her gut was telling her, he's not picking me. He doesn't love me that way. I am not his person. Her gut was screaming at her, and she was very smart to pick that up. She really was. She kept saying that something felt off, and I said, girl, you ain't wrong. Girl, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. And she says in her ITM, if I'm being honest, I feel that it's not me. I don't think it's me. I said, oh my God. Oh my God, girl. Oh my God, girl. I mean, at this point, I was still like, maybe there could be a switch. Maybe they're trying to bait and switch us where they're making it seem like it's not going to be Daisy and it will be. There was a moment in the end where I kind of thought that. We'll get into it. But let's move on to the next the one-on-one with Kelsey, which, of course, then he, every time he sees her, he's like, oh my God, I missed you so much. You look so beautiful. He just says these things that he doesn't say when he sees Daisy. He's like, hey, how you doing? But every time he sees Kelsey, he's just like, I missed you. I couldn't wait to see you again. Like, these are just things that are like screaming, he's picking Kelsey. He's just screaming it. They do a spa date, which again, so much more fun than the date he had with Daisy, where he basically told the producers, "Hey, can you do me a favor and have a date where I don't have to talk much, because I really don't want to have to really make it obvious to Daisy that I'm not picking her. Can you do that for me?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure. We'll give you guys a spiritual healing," where they didn't have to talk at all. Sad. It's sad of that, but he has a spa day with freaking Kelsey. I'm like, okay, well, that's clearly much more fun. You can tell they have a really cute banter. They're having so much fun together. Very cute. And in between that, you do have Daisy back in her hotel talking again about how she doesn't feel that it's right, that something's wrong after the night before, and she wants to feel like she's chosen. I said, oh, girl. It's clear as day to me. I wrote here, it is clear as day that Kelsey is the one. I literally wrote that. It is clear as day. Because it was. They have their night portion, and she says that she feels so special, that she loves him so much, and it's so clear to her that she can see a future together. And in this moment, like when they're talking, it just feels so obvious. It feels so, clear. It really does. It really does feel very clear to the audience watching. Oh my God, I still have about 3 pages of notes, my friends, because we're getting in between final rows as well. So then we're up to like the actual like finale. Like we're getting there, like the finale. We've got our Neil. He's there. He's showing off the rings. Joey's picking one. All that stuff. They put Kelsey in white. I said, oh, yeah. Oh, guys, why are you even trying to make us think that it could not possibly, like, you guys are just throwing it at us that Kelsey is freaking the winner. She's literally wearing white. You made her wear a white dress. I'm producers. Come on. At least try to make it a little bit less obvious. Like, she was literally wearing freaking, and then they have, what's her name? They have Daisy in like red. I'm like, okay, come on. It's obvious. It's so obvious. So you have Daisy feeling very anxious the day of. She's saying she doesn't feel good with how they left things off. She felt like she felt, which we all know now for sure, is that she felt that he was trying to give her a like wink by telling her these things the way that he was saying it to her, so that she would not be blindsided the day of. And it's true, he was kind of prepping her by being like, hey, I hope you're happy. I want you to be happy. Literally, I'm like, oh girl. So then you have her, getting dressed. She's walking, right? And she goes to this door and she starts knocking on it. And then you see Joey inside and he looks and he goes and walks there. And everybody in the audience, of course, they go to a freaking commercial break. Everyone in the audience is like, oh, but I was like, oh my God, is she gonna go to, oh my God, is she gonna break up with him before they even get there? But then I'm like, no, because I said, no, it can't be that, because there is the preview where he is left at the altar and he's like crying. So like if she breaks up with him before, then why would he be crying at the altar? I was like, unless Kelsey says no, but I'm like, no, there's no way. So I'm like, okay, we come back from commercial break. It turns out she's gone to Kelsey's door. Oh my God. I was mouth dropped. I was like, no. And I guess this is when the whole like shockworthy moment. I will say we had a couple of shockworthy moments in the end here, because I guess these are things we haven't seen normally on the finale. The girls don't see each other. The girls don't know who said yes, who's going to say, like, none of that is happening. So, Daisy sits down with her. They hug. They're like, oh my God, how are you? Just the sweetest girl moment, right? It was just so cute. And Daisy asks Kelsey, like, hey, how was your date? And she was like, oh my God, it was awesome. And she's like, oh, did he validate you? And she's like, he gave me so much validation. I said, oh my God. I was like, Daisy, no. Oh my God, Daisy, no. I felt so bad. I was like, oh my God. Kelsey has no idea that she's literally confirming everything. So she tells her, like, I don't think my date really went very well. And she kind of explains to her, like, I'm not sure if it's me, kind of vibes, right? And She says in her ITM though, like, you know, she is very much hurting, but she's gonna stick it out. And just, I'm like, okay, so she's not walking away. At first I thought she was just, I honestly thought that what was gonna happen was maybe she was gonna go to Kelsey and be like, hey, it's you, I'm just gonna retire myself. I thought she might do that, but then I also kept thinking, I'm like, yeah, but we have that damn preview of him at the altar crying, so it can't be that. So then they show, obviously, Joey's at the altar. Then they show the limo coming. And usually whoever they show first is the person who is getting cut first. So they show the limo, and the first person they show is Kelsey. And for a moment, I was like, no. I was like, no way. He is not sending Kelsey home. No way. Because usually they show the first person first. Like, they're the ones that are going to be cut. But then they cut over, and then you see Daisy, and I'm like, oh, okay. They're trying to throw us off. They're both in different times, different limos that they're filming this, right? And then, guys, they have the shot. They zoom out, and both women are in the car together, holding hands. I said, okay, shockworthy. That moment was shockworthy. That has never happened. I will say, that has never happened. So they got me there. They really did. I was like, oh my God. Both of the women. Oh my God. They're both in the limo. What the fuck? So then they get there, and Daisy gets out of the car first. And I'm like, oh God. And that's the crazy thing is, like, at this point, like, obviously Kelsey would have to know, like, I'm not being chosen. Like, you both go to like, she must have told her, like, hey, it's not gonna be me, like, in the car. I don't know what it is, but, like, if both of you go in the car and Daisy gets out first, like, clearly it's like, well, it's not me. Like, it's clearly me, right? That's what I would think. I don't know, that's what I would think. But so Daisy comes in first. Not gonna lie, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I shed some tears. I shed some tears during the scene. It actually was a little bit, it wasn't heart-wrenching. I wasn't sobbing, but it was very sad because, you know, she basically, Joey kind of says, like, oh, I've loved getting to know you. All these nice, beautiful things about her. And then she says that about him. And she's just like, I just want to thank you. I'm so grateful for you. All this stuff. And then she's just like, but I know that I'm not the one. I know that I'm not your person. And she just starts sobbing, and Joey just starts crying because he's realized, like, oh, she knows I'm about to break up with her. And what I loved about it was that, and some people have different thoughts about this, but some people, I generally really liked that she got to break it up with him first. Like, she was like, hey, you ain't breaking up with me, mister. I'm going to break up with you first because I know that you're not going to choose me. So I'd rather just let you know, hey, I know that I'm not your person, and that's okay. I'm really happy for you. And yes, this hurts so much, but I want you to be happy. And she was crying the whole time, like, just telling him all these things. And she's like, I know I'm not the one. Tears, just tears streaming. He's crying. He tells her how special she is. And oh my God, it's so hard to watch. It's so hard to watch. And he says, like, okay, like, should I walk you out? And she's like, no. It's okay. Like, you don't have to. I don't think you should. I was like, oh my God, Daisy. I was hurting for her because it took her a while to open up. But when she finally got there, she really let herself. I really liked Daisy. I never had a problem with her. I generally really liked her. And I wish her the best. But then the moment, guys, the moment that was so beautiful, and I guess it was a moment that never has happened, is Daisy walks back and Kelsey's at the car and she's just like, yeah, it's not me, it's you. And she's like, your mom would be so proud. Oh my God, I'm about to cry right now. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm crying about The Bachelor. But it was just such a beautiful moment because we know how important Kelsey's, mom has been. Like, that topic has been this whole season. And it was so beautiful to see these two women really come together and be happy for each other. But the moment that, Daisy was like, your mom would be so happy for you and so proud of you in this moment. And I was like, oh my God, girl. I said, girl, stop. Oh my God. It was so sweet. I can't believe I'm crying about this. But So then she's in the car, Daisy's in the car saying goodbye, and she's like, you know, if I can love the wrong person this much, imagine how much I can love the right person. I said, oh, quote, 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 quote.
She's got a point. She's an icon. She's a legend, and she is the moment.
I loved it. Then we had time for Kelsey, obviously. It was Kelsey's moment. So, you know, they do their little vows back and forth. And I'm like, okay, obviously he's going to pick her. Oh, wait, rewind. Rewind? How could I forget? The whole time that she's in the car and crying all this stuff, you do have the scene with Joey back at the altar that we kept seeing throughout the previews, that big thing in the beginning where he's crying, he takes off his jacket, he's like, I didn't see that coming. Because he just didn't see the fact that she was going to be able to tell him, like, hey, I know. Don't need to break up with me, bitch, I know. Bitch, I know. So that is that moment. He is crying and sad because that he just wants Daisy to find happiness, and he does love her and wishes her nothing but the best, and he knew that someone's heart was going to be broken at the end of this, and he feels really, you know, horrible about it and all those things, because obviously no one ever wants to break up with anyone. Normally speaking, someone who's a very good person never wants to break someone's heart and tell them, like, hey, you're not the one, kind of thing, right? Or I'm sorry, I don't feel that way about you, and things like that. So I can understand where he's coming from. But yeah, so it's Kelsey's time, and obviously we already know where it ends. He does get down on one knee, and she says yes. And it's funny because literally at this whole point, I'm like, well, obviously she knows she's going to say, she's going to ask her. So there is no moment, I think, at that point. She was probably just relieved. She was like, oh, thank God, I'm picked. I'm the one. I'm the winner. Like, I won. Like, we're going to be together. I love him. He loves me, you know? She's sobbing. Everyone is sobbing. Everyone's in love. Now, the whole time I kept thinking about, now, will this last? I hope so. I really do. They seem very, very much in love. I feel like Kelsey's going to be really good for them, and Kelsey's very good for him. And I hope they work out. I really do. Because it's so hard with The Bachelor these days. So many couples just don't make it. It's really hard for couples to survive that, like, 2 years, 3 years. So I'm pulling for them. I am pulling for them. I really am. So then we have the after the final rose little recap here. So Daisy and Joey talk. She comes out in this Bachelorette dress. I said Bachelorette vibes. Bachelorette vibes. She's going to be announced. She's going to be announced. She's going to be the Bachelorette. She looks beautiful. She has like this like halter dress, like sparkle with the, I said, oh my God.
Slay! Slay!
I haven't ever worn a dress like that, but every time I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, that'd be so fun to dress up one day like that. Like, just to go to a party and be like heavily, like formally dressed up would be nice. But she talks to Joey and says that she's so happy for them and she wishes nothing but the best for them. And it was just so sweet to see them like interact and talk about it. And Jesse Palmer says, hey, like, when did you know? And she's like, well, actually, she's like, I knew at the last rose ceremony when Joey and he had sent Rachel home and he came up to us. She saw Joey and Kelsey look at each other and she's like, oh wow. She knew, oh wow, like I'm not the one. Like she knew in that moment already that she was not the one because of the way they looked at each other. I was like, damn, girl is smart. Girl is smart. That's basically when she started to piece it together. Like they have a connection here that we do not have, and I see it. Joey says that he appreciate the way she handled everything, and you know, they just both wish each other everything but the best. She's extremely happy for them. They have a really nice, beautiful moment. There's no animosity, and that was one thing about Joey as a whole, is not one person out there who went home, who was sent home, had anything negative to say about Joey anytime they had like at the Women Tell All with Rachel, here with Daisy, like with the women talking about it. Everybody said that Joey treated them so well and was such a beautiful person and a wonderful human being. Like nobody had anything negative to say about this man. So I mean, that must mean something, because normally you have someone that says like, oh, I was blindsided. Like you told me this, you know, like in the Golden Bachelor, we had that moment with Leslie, with Faith, you know, we had, you know, these people were happy, but at the same time they were like, what the fuck, dude? But seems like everybody here had something wonderful to say about Joey. No one had any negatives to say. Then, of course, we have Kelsey and Joey come out together. Kelsey looks stunning. She had this black, also like a halter dress, and she had her hair in a pony with her bangs out. I said, oh my God, stylists for the win this season. Oh my God, so good. So good. They asked her when she started to fall in love, and she said, did she start to feel something? It was when they were in Jasper together. Of course, they talk about their love, yada, yada, yada. You can definitely tell that there is a lot of love between them. They're so freaking adorable. We find out about their future, what their plannings are doing. Kelsey says that Joey is actually going to be moving to New Orleans. So I said, okay. Moving to New Orleans. I love it. Then they said that they're going to move to New York in the summer. I mean, that's normal. It's either New York or LA or San Diego. That's usually where everybody ends up being like, where can we move together? So they move to New York. And then we have the Bachelorette announcement. Let's get into the Bachelorette announcement where they kind of did a fake out. They were like, Daisy, come on out. And I was like, okay, so she's not the Bachelorette then. Like, she's not. They sit her down on the couch. She talks to Jesse Palmer. Joey's gone at this point. She's talking to Jesse Palmer, saying how much she cared about him, and she didn't want to have to make him break up with her. So she was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it, because she knew that like he was probably gonna be really hurting and it was gonna be very hard. So she's like, I'm gonna do it for him. But when Jesse Palmer says like, hey, are you ready? She's like, I don't think I'm ready yet to, meet new people, but I am very excited to meet that person because I know they're out there for me. And I was like, oh, so she's not the Bachelorette. These bitches, they put her in this Bachelorette dress so that we could think that she was going to be a Bachelorette. I was like, And then I've been rooting for Maria the whole time. I was like, Maria, please, please, please. But Maria was in the audience. So I'm like, oh man, Maria's not the Bachelorette. I'm like, oh, fine. I don't think she's the Bachelorette. Like, this sucks. We like if that woman tell all told us anything, it was the fact that Maria should have been the Bachelorette. Like, she was crying. Like, people were crying to make her the Bachelorette. Now, maybe she said no. It could have been that she just said no. Who knows? I don't know, but she's not the Bachelorette. Okay, then we have Daisy and Kelsey reunite. So that was really nice. You have both of the women out there, and it was so beautiful because you had them both like holding hands, just being so happy for, Daisy being so happy for her. And what I loved was something Kelsey said. I can't remember word for word, but what I loved what she said was, we're both two women. We both could be beautiful. We both could be amazing. We both could be X, Y, and Z, but that doesn't mean that like we have to be in competition with each other. We both can be those things. And I was like, oh. The women empowerment this episode, this season with these two women, they sealed it. I thought it was so beautiful. They're both really excited for each other. It was just really beautiful to see. I stand for it. It was nice. I loved what Kelsey said about how both women could be amazing, and that's fine. They both can be those things. Now, it doesn't have to be a competition. This isn't a competition. It's who's the right person for Joey. It's not about, anything else. And I was like, oh my God, my heart. Just beautiful people, beautiful, beautiful people. I loved it. I loved it. So then they announced the Bachelorette. They're like, okay, so now we're finally going to talk about who our Bachelorette is. Let's welcome our new Bachelorette, Jen. And I was like, guys, I'm sorry. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to keep it honest. I was like, wait, what? Who? Jen? Jen? Like, and it was nothing against Jen because I liked Jen. I had no issues with her. I thought she was the cutest. I thought she was going to go farther. She was one of my top 4. So the fact that she didn't make it to my top 4, I was actually shocked. I really liked her. I liked her connection. I thought she was super laid back. She was super cute. But she didn't give me Bachelorette vibes. That I will say. And at first, I've had a day to think about it. At first, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know if she's going to be really fun. Like, she just didn't seem like someone who I would picture as a Bachelorette. But then I woke up this morning and I was like, I had time to sleep on it, basically. And I was like, you know what? Actually, I am excited to see her because this is going to be the first time we've ever seen some Asian representation up in here. And I think that that is important. At the end of the day, even if I didn't see her as the Bachelorette, I am excited to see people from the Asian culture being represented on The Bachelor because we don't see that. You know, we just had the first Black Bachelor like not too long ago, right? It took a while for us to get there. Now, we start thinking about it, and unless you're watching like The Bachelor Vietnam or The Bachelor, you know, I don't know where I know they do Bachelor in other countries as well, or Bachelor Korea or whatever, right? But we've never seen in the US version of The Bachelor or Bachelorette, we've never seen a person from Asia, whether that be South Asia or not. Like, we haven't seen anyone from Asia being represented at all on these shows. And I think that that is something that's very important. Now, did ABC do this because they're being like, hey, let's make sure we're representing all colors and all people? Or was it because other women said no? Like, I don't know. I hope that it is. I'm not gonna lie, I really did want Maria. I really, really wanted Maria, but at the same time, I do like that they have chosen to go with someone that has never been represented on their show. And maybe that will open up for representation for other Asian people on the show because we just never see it. We hardly, even when we have The Bachelorette, we might see maybe one or maybe two Asian men. But other than that, we never see that. They're always just white, maybe Latin, maybe some Black men, but we never see Asian people. Like, the last Asian guy I remember was from Tayshia's season, the doctor. I'm blanking on his name, but that was like the first time I ever saw like that I had seen like someone like an Asian man on the show, like actually going on it. I was like, oh wow, we have an Asian man on here. So I'm hoping that this will open up that demographic. I'm hoping that we'll get to learn more about the Asian culture because you'll have other people from Asia talking about their dynamics with their families, how it has been to grow up. Like, I'm really intrigued about that aspect, and I really hope that Jen's going to bring some awareness to that for people who are watching. Because, like I said, at first I was kind of like, Jen, really? But then I thought about it and I was like, I really liked Jen. For most of the season, I really liked her. I was just surprised because she didn't give me like someone who would want to be the Bachelorette. But you know what? I will be watching her season and I'm very excited to see her. She's super cute. She's very tiny and petite, which I love because I'm tiny and petite. And she's just really sweet. And like I said, I'm just looking forward to seeing that kind of representation on our screens. But overall, guys, that was Joey's season of The Bachelor. It is done. We've done it. Oh my God. I can't believe we did the whole season. It was such a fun ride. It was such an amazing season. Great women, a great lead. We had the drama. We had it all. And I'm very, very happy. I hope that Joey and Kelsey stay together for very many, many, many years. And yeah, I loved it. I loved the season. This was a great season. Guys, let me know in a comment below, what did you think of this season as a whole? What did you think about the reveal of the Bachelorette? Did you think he was going to choose Kelsey? Did you feel any kind of like, were you blindsided? Were you shocked by this finale? Let me know in a comment below. But anyway, guys, if you liked this video, you know what to do. Click that like button if you're not already subscribed. Like I always say, I'm sorry, but why? I'm sorry, but what? Why are you not subscribed? Subscribe. But anyway, guys, thanks for being here, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.